everyone, so today I'd like to talk about one of my favourite Vanda crosses, the Vanda Tessellata cross Vanda Luzonica. Here she is. So this one I actually got to spike on my own. I've only really been into Vandas since the start of this year, so for about towards 8 months now. It was about April that I got these ones, and along with a couple of others. I do have Luzonica, UCI, and a couple of others down the bottom there. This one came from a grower in Queensland, and Tessellata and Luzonica are normally intermediate to warm growers, which means they basically like temperatures above 15 degrees, from around 15 degrees Celsius to 33 degrees Celsius. I can put the Fahrenheit on the screen for you. I got this one in April, which is in Australia, that's autumn, so the temperatures were cooling down a little bit. When I first got it back to Sydney, we built this Vanda stand that you can see behind me, because most Vandas like to be outside with a lot of air circulation. It is generally warmer outside than it is inside, and there's a lot more light. So this one, along with all the others, was living outside. I then started to notice a bit of yellowing of the leaves, which can be normal with any change of climate, but this one, it was getting some quite dark, cold burn spots almost, and I knew to reduce the watering as it got colder, because you don't want it to be cold and wet. That's your deadly combination. But eventually I decided to bring the Vandas inside, because I was very precious about them. This is the first winter season that we've had the Vandas here in Sydney, so I just wanted to be extra cautious. So this one, along with the others, came inside and was hanging on a windowsill in our spare bedroom. Our spare bedroom faces south to southeast, I suppose you'd say, which in Australia is the least amount of light. We do get morning sun on the balcony. The balcony sort of faces northeast, so we do get morning sunlight, but really over the other side of the house we don't really get too much. So I was very surprised when this one spiked, because it spiked when it was inside still, had been on the windowsill, right against the window, so it would get sort of bright indirect light, I suppose you'd say, or not even really bright indirect light. Most parts of the day was just indirect light. I was watering them in the shower as well, because I was worried that the cold water from the hose would be too cold on their roots. So I'd go into the shower with them, well, take them into the shower, water their roots with, I suppose you'd say lukewarm, not cold water, but not warm water, because you don't want to burn the roots either. Leave them hanging in the shower and put a little oscillating fan in there to sort of help with air circulation so they didn't get any mold. I'd do that in winter probably every 3 days or so. I was doing that, and then returning them back to their little spot on the windowsill. And this one actually gave me a spike it was the very end of July, I think it was the 30th of July, and it took about just over a month to form into buds and to start opening. And it's produced this really beautiful purple and white flowers. It has very sort of lamellata shape, with the tessellata sort of patterning on them. These flowers have been open for about 6 weeks now, so they're starting to slowly fade away. They have had a really, I like the scent, my husband doesn't like the scent. It's sort of almost like musk sticks, those sort of lollies, that sort of musky, sweet, sometimes overpowering, but sometimes really soft scent. More scented in the morning with the sunshine as opposed to in the afternoon. But now that the weather's warming up, it's spring here in Australia at the moment, I have been starting to transition all the Vandas back to being outside, but still have been bringing them inside when the temperature gets sort of 12 degrees or under overnight, which it's sometimes still been doing. It's fluctuating a lot at the moment, so I don't know, I'm just not brave enough to leave them out and then be really cold. Some growers do. I've heard some growers here in Sydney do leave them out, so I mean, each to their own. Put down in the comments what you do. I'd love to know, but I'm more of a nervous grower when it comes to the Vandas, because I really want them to do well. I don't want them to be too cold, and generally if I do bring them in, I'll bring them in overnight, and if it's warming up during the day, I'll bring them straight back out in the morning, give them the water so the roots can dry off, they can get some warmth, and the air circulation as well. So yeah, that's my Tessellata cross Luzonica. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I'd love to share some more growing tips with you along my orchid journey. Thanks so much.